Real Virginia is proudly produced by the Virginia Farm Bureau. For nearly a century, Farm Bureau has been a friend of the farm for all Virginians. Visit our website at vafb.com.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Real Virginia, a show about Virginia agriculture and the people who produce the wonderful local products we enjoy. Brought to you by the Virginia Farm Bureau. Here's what's coming up on this week's show. Learn about these little crustaceans that are a big hit. Discover how to propagate these bold blooms. And visit some of Virginia's merriest farms.
Home will always be Virginia, between the Blue Ridge and Chesapeake Bay, Atlantic to Appalachia. Home in my heart always.
Welcome back to Real Virginia, everyone. We're coming to you this week from Knuckles Christmas Tree Farm in Cumberland County, where the Knuckles family has grown Christmas trees for almost 60 years. We'll hear more about these Yuletide favorites later in the episode, but first we head to Virginia Beach to hear about this year's shrimp harvest.
The surf, the sand, the shrimp? Virginia Beach has always been known for its seaside beauty and offshore fishing. However, just within the last couple of years, shrimping has become a viable industry within the waterways of Virginia. With warmer waters in the area, white shrimp populations have been expanding closer to the coastal Virginia Beach region in recent years, which historically hasn't been an inviting habitat for the species. In response to the emergence of these tropes of shrimp, the Virginia Marine Resource Commission initiated an experimental shrimp fishery starting around 2017. The VMRC issued a small amount of licenses to Virginia watermen focusing on small vessel operations. The pioneer of Virginia shrimping is Captain Bob Kreischer. With 40 years of fishing experience, took a chance and started trawling.
Well, we just kept seeing a lot of shrimp in our gill nets, and we went over to commission and came up with a way where we could pull a beam trawl, a small beam trawl, to try to catch them. And this is what we came up with. And it works pretty good if the shrimp are here. I had no idea it was going to work. Yep. We started with 2 8-foot crab dredges, David Portlock and I, and cut the teeth off the blades and put a little shrimp net behind it and ended up catching some the first year. Then we came up with a new style beam trawl.
The key to catching the shrimp is the net, which Captain Bob and his good friend Captain Dave Portlock modified, and after many experiments, got approval from the VMRC for use.
We decided we'd try it, so we went over to VMRC and talked to them, and they let us have an experimental permit, and we tried our crab dredges, and we tried doing it with crab dredges, and we took the bags out and we tied a shrimp net on the back of those, and we caught some, trial and error, and ended up with the rig that we have now, and it's pretty, catch is pretty good.
Carolina shrimp had become the staple of the Virginia market, so Captain Bob thought, why can't we do it?
Yeah, they would be coming by here loaded every year. You know, we'd be out there roundhead fishing, and we got thinking, why can't we catch them in Virginia? You know, they're coming right by here selling them in Virginia. Why can't we catch any, you know? And then we went over to the commission, and we got this passed.
With the groundwork laid, these trawlers saw early success, with 410,000 pounds of shrimp landed during the 2020 season. These early returns navigated the path to establish an official season from October 1st to January 31st off Virginia Beach. The Virginia Beach shrimp trawl harvest area stretches from Cape Henry Lighthouse, south to the North Carolina line, and eastward to the 3 nautical miles off the coast. While the fisheries are still in their infancy, boat size and catch limits are in place. Vessels must be within 38 feet to 50 feet range that make day trips in the ocean. The nets are only 16 feet wide, and a tow time limit is maxed out at 30 minutes per trawl. The catches are sold right on the dock as the ship returns. Patrons can sign up to get alerts about when the freshest shrimp available can be purchased.
Well, I sell most of them right here on the dock, as you see. I got a lot of customers.
Yeah, they call us and put their orders in, and we get in, and they're pretty happy to get them.
I like it coming right off the back of that boat. They know it's fresh. They're still moving when we bring them to the dock.
With the success in Virginia, other states took notice and wanted to duplicate the legislation that had been established in the Commonwealth.
These guys down here in Virginia were catching shrimp, and we were seeing them up in our coastal bays off right in Ocean City. And so we went to the legislators, and we got a shrimp pilot program started. And that's been approximately about 3 years ago. We got this pilot program started, and it's an ocean fishery. It's pretty much mirrored to the Virginia boats. Well, I've known these guys for probably close to 50 years and knew they were doing it. And they pretty much opened their arms up to help us out get started. And if it weren't for them, it'd have been a tough ride. It'd have been a tough ride, but they got us set up. We've tried it, it catches. Now we're just waiting for the opportunity to shrimp to get right so we can benefit from it.
Since its inception, the number of licenses and participants have grown.
We had the first permit, David and I together, who went on my boat. And then the next year they issued one more. And now, can't even keep track of it now.
Past shrimp seasons have been very successful, and while the bounty of the sea is plentiful, King Neptune doesn't always give up his treasure easily. The early returns for the 2025 season have been disappointing so far.
A freak year or something, because there just hasn't been any shrimp at all. But in the past, the past years leading up to this, it's been, pretty good.
Yes, it's really, I think all this weather, this northeasters we've had, the whole fall has really done something to them. But it's been terrible the last 2 weeks. It picked up there the end of October. Had a few good days. I thought it was getting ready to start, and then it disappeared. Nothing right now. That's why I'm at the dock.
But a few bad trawls doesn't mean the sun is setting on this blossoming industry.
I mean, we all want to pull something bigger, but this works fine. And when the shrimp are here, I can catch plenty in a day to make it good.
Virginia shrimp fisheries are providing an additional source of income for watermen, and with the cooperation of this small group of fishermen and the VMRC, the shrimp industry has a bright future in Virginia. For Real Virginia, I'm Mike Voyak. Virginia's shrimp fishery is making waves. What began as a surprise catch in 2017 has grown into a viable industry, with shrimpers landing over 350,000 pounds of crustaceans in 2023. Shrimp season runs from mid-September through January, depending on the location. The catch is sold dockside, at local restaurants, and through seafood purveyors across the Commonwealth. Virginia shrimp are wild, sustainable, and delicious.
Coming up on In the Garden, I'm going to talk about hardy hibiscus. Stay with us.
Every year, 500 people in the United States die in an all-terrain vehicle-related accident, and another 1,000 people are seriously injured. Sadly, many of those victims are children.
Being able to have fun on an ATV, being able to use an ATV in a workplace environment, there's a lot of unknowns. Number one tip for riding an ATV is definitely wearing a helmet. You think about the opportunity to overturn an ATV, imagine your head the same density as a watermelon and how easy it would be to crack. One of the biggest things that we always push for anybody we train is always make sure that you have a good quality helmet before you ride. Parents are the leading example of what children tend to follow when they're out using an ATV on a farm. So we want to make sure that our parents are very knowledgeable about safety and equipment and being able to teach their children the correct method to operate ATV safety, especially with the age. Age is important.
This message brought to you by the Virginia Farm Bureau Safety Advisory Committee.
With giant red blooms, Lord Baltimore hibiscus is well suited even for cold climates. Mark Viette shows us how to care for and propagate it in the garden.
There are a couple different types of hibiscus. Now, this is known as the hardy hibiscus, Hibiscus mosquetos. It will grow all the way from Georgia, northern parts of Florida where it gets cold enough, all the way into Ontario, Canada. So it has a wide growing area. It can handle the cold. what you do in the spring is you cut it back to the ground, probably to about 6 inches, probably early, mid-spring, before it grows. And this type of hibiscus comes in white, pink, red, and this one is one of my favorites. It's called Lord Baltimore. Huge, giant flowers. Some of the new varieties have smaller flowers, probably a third smaller, but I enjoy the large, giant flowers. Those of you that have been to Florida or Hawaii might see what are known as the tropical hibiscus. They're a little shorter in most cases. They have a wide variety of colors: pink, lavender, maroon, maybe blue, or a little bit of blue. But they will freeze. So in our climate, they will freeze. Some people grow them outdoors on a patio or bring them in during the winter months. So you have a choice between the two, but for outdoor gardens, I like the hardy hibiscus. Now, how do you make more of these? You can't collect the seed. They're not going to come true to this. They're all going to be different if you collect the seed, which becomes available in about 2 months. But you can take a sharp shovel or a spade. At the base of the plant, you're going to see stems looking like my hand facing up. So what you're going to do is you're going to come in and you're going to cut this maybe in a third and another third. Or what some people do to propagate plants is just dig 1/3 of this clump. And don't make the mistake I made. My dad always says, fill in the holes. If you don't fill in the holes, he'll end up tripping in them. So what you want to do is take out part of the plant that you're going to plant elsewhere, then take some of the surrounding soil and fill in the hole that you created. But go out and enjoy hardy hibiscus. I'm Mark Viette. Join me next time in the garden.
Need a new favorite party dish for fresh Virginia shrimp? Chef Tammy shows us how to make a shrimp and crawdad dip in the heart of the home.
Hi, I'm Chef Tammy Brawley from the Green Kitchen. Here today we are planning to make some delicious crawfish and shrimp dip. You know, when I was a kid, we used to catch crawfish, called them mud bugs. Used to catch them in the creek. Never thought I would have been eating them many years later. So we've got some delicious crawfish here and some shrimp. We've got some butter melting in our pan. We're going to add that to the hot butter. You always want to make sure that whatever fat you're choosing to use, it is hot before you add your product. That's really, really important because you don't want that product to absorb all that fat. And seafood, as I'm sure you know, does not take very long to cook. And the crawfish are actually already cooked. They're in the freezer section of your seafood guy. So we're going to take about 4 or 5 minutes here to cook our seafood. All right, so now that the seafood is cooked about 4 or 5 minutes, we're actually going to remove it to our food processor. You want to try to leave your fat in the bottom of the pan because we're going to be doing some more sauteing. So it's best to use a slotted spoon. All right. Now we're going to process it, but we don't want it really, really fine, so we just kind of want a rough chop there. We're going to do a little pulsing. And then, oh, that looks perfect. Then we're going to remove it to our bowl. Tell you guys a little trick that use a food processor. If you want to dump something out, usually the blade follows along behind it. I always take the blade from underneath and put my finger there and grip it. And then that way, when I want to turn it upside down, my blade stays in place. Nice little kitchen tip. We will be coming back to the food processor in just a moment. So we still have our fat in the pan. If you feel like you need more, it's perfectly fine to add more. I personally don't think we need to, so I'm going to leave that be. Now we're going to come back and we're actually going to add some vegetables. We've got some chopped celery, chopped bell pepper, and some chopped onion. Whatever vegetable you want to use. You could use a green bell pepper, yellow. I think colors are always really, really pretty. As they say, you eat first with your eyes. All right, I think our onions are looking pretty good here. We're going to go ahead and add this mixture to the food processor. Now we are going to come back to more sauteing, so we probably will want to add a little bit more fat. I'm using butter today, but you can certainly use olive oil if you choose. We're going to pulse up the vegetables, just like we did the seafood. A little bit more processing is in order. Oh yes, looks delicious. And you actually kind of want to keep it somewhat chunky. That's why we're not pureeing it really fine. And we're going to go back into our pan with the vegetables. Again, I'm going to hold my blade in place with my finger underneath. All right, we're going to saute the vegetables just a little bit. And now we're starting to add our other flavor components, our spices. We've got some Creole seasoning here. We're going to sprinkle that over the vegetables. Creole seasoning can be found in your spice section of your grocery stores, or you might even be able to make your own. All right, now we're going to add a little flour. This just adds a little bit of a thickening agent to the mixture. You want to kind of cook it down a little bit. You really don't want to see any bits of white when you're stirring this around. I can tell it's already starting to thicken up like it's supposed to. A little bit of tomato paste. Move that around. Now we're going to come back and add our seafood that we chopped earlier. Going to add in a few green onions. Adds a nice little color to it. A little bit of Worcestershire. That adds a nice little salt kick to it, so you notice I'm not even adding any salt or pepper. And then the last thing I want to add is a little bit of hot sauce. Hot sauce of your choice. I don't know if you're like me, but I've got about 20 different hot sauces in my cabinet. I go through my favorites. This happens to be a little chipotle one, and it just gives a nice little kick to it as well. All right. And there you have it, a delicious shrimp and crawfish dip. I'd like to show you how I like to serve it, and that is with some crusty baguette and some garnish of green onions on the top. Absolutely delicious. I'm Tammy Brawley from the Green Kitchen. Join us next time on Heart of the Home.
Did you know that celery wasn't always just for snacking? Celery was originally mostly used for its medicinal powers because it is packed with potassium, vitamin C, and much more. From soothing stress to helping with digestion to lowering high blood pressure, celery has quite the resume. Some even say that its juice can help heal wounds and ulcers. Celery seeds are even used to treat colds, flus, insomnia, indigestion, and arthritis. Here in Virginia, celery requires a long growing season, so start your seeds indoors about 10 to 12 weeks before your last spring frost.
Farming is a rewarding way of life, but it can also be full of challenges. If you or someone you know is struggling, call or text the AgriStress helpline at 833-897-2474. It offers 24/7 access to professionals who can support someone in need and help find mental health services in your community. Please make the call, because healthy farms depend on healthy farm families. That's 833-897-2474.
Christmas trees just like this one are eagerly awaiting enthusiastic families to choose them to adorn with ornaments and garland. Join me as we meet the dedicated farmers behind these festive holiday favorites. With Jack Frost nipping at their noses, many Virginia families are ready to find the perfect Christmas tree for their homes. But long before the lights and tinsel go up, these Christmas tree growers have been hard at work.
October is my hardest month. I mean, I'm working every single day, Saturdays, Sundays. I'm working 7 days a week to try to get not only trees sheared for the final shearing, but I'm mowing. I mean, I was mowing yesterday.
Knuckles Christmas Tree Farm is in Cumberland County and has been in operation since 1966. Just to the south, in Amelia County, Woods Tree Farm also is ready for the holiday season.
This year, 2025, is our milestone year. We have hundreds of trees ready to cut here in the field. And my wife and I started this farm about 6 years ago because we wanted to create a spot for families to come out and create memories.
And in Caroline County, Ben and Angel Snyder are eagerly awaiting opening day.
We've been doing that since 2018. And it's been a work in progress, but we're getting there, and you know, everything is coming together now, and trees are starting to get some legs and getting some taller trees out here.
While many Virginians may only have recently begun preparing for Christmas, Phil Wood says raising beautiful trees is a year-round job.
The single biggest thing that people don't recognize trying to get into growing Christmas trees is how much ongoing work there is. The actual growing of Christmas trees is work throughout the year. It's not just plant a tree, wait 7 years, harvest it, and collect the money. Throughout the year, you need to scout for pests and disease and spray if necessary. The trees need to be trimmed at least once a year. The cypress trees that we have are 2 to 3 times a year. So throughout the year, there's just a ton of work.
And while white pines, spruces, and firs are traditional favorites, many Virginia growers have found success with several different types of cypresses.
This is a Leland cypress. These actually don't have needles. So these are very good as far as you know, not having a mess on the floor after the season or anything like that. Very resilient trees, have a nice you know, yellow-green color to them, very, very vibrant, and a lot of space in here to hold ornaments.
There's also the Arizona cypress, the Carolina sapphire, and the frosty blue ice cypress, among others. And regardless of the variety, for each tree sold this year, these growers will replant new seedlings. Richard Knuckles says the hard work is worth it.
It was a great experience doing this as a kid when I was growing up. I mean, it was a lot of hard work. I mean, we were not only with the Christmas trees, but we were clearing land at that point too, where we only had really one major field that we could plant in. So we were clearing land, cutting trees down, really hard work. I enjoyed every second of it. And I think it instilled in me a work ethic that I've kept to this day.
And Snyder says the Christmas tree spirit was instilled in him at a young age too.
My grandfather had a wild hare, and then decided he was going to go north and grab some Christmas trees, and then started his Christmas tree farm up there. So ever since I was little, you know, growing up, always out on the farm, raising trees, doing stuff like that. And you know, as I got older, just wanted to do something for myself as far as the tree farm goes. Just had a few different other ideas of marketing and ways to sell the trees, and different interactions and things like that. So after going to college and coming down here to Virginia, my wife and I decided to start a farm out here in Caroline County.
Not unlike Santa's elves, there is a tight-knit community of Christmas tree growers.
Virginia Christmas Tree Growers Association is a really good association. I mean, especially for the new growers, they can learn a tremendous amount because you got all the experienced growers there that can you know, give you their experience. So hopefully you don't make all these mistakes that we had to make.
There's going to be a lot of things that we're going through at the same time, and just really bouncing ideas off of each other and trying to get everything figured out. It's each farm is very unique, but we all do a lot of the same things, and it's a very nice network to have other folks that are having the same trials and tribulations, and sort of lean on each other.
And for each of these growers, it really is the most wonderful time of the year.
We love doing it. I mean, this is our favorite time of the year, getting together with folks that we haven't seen but once a year. We only get to see once a year, so it's busy. I'm always relieved when we get by the first day. So the Friday after Thanksgiving, I mean, you're doing all the prep, making sure everything is going as smoothly as you can, and you want everybody to have the best experience. And after that, I can actually take a deep breath.
When we open for the season, it is what I can only imagine a football player going to the Super Bowl for the first time feels like. It is very energizing. It's a very kind of unique experience, even though we do it every year, and I know what that feels like now. But that kind of euphoric feeling of, okay, it's game time.
To find a Virginia Christmas tree farm near you, visit virginiachristmastrees.org. For Real Virginia, I'm Elijah Griles. We're so glad you could join us to celebrate all the bounty Virginia has to offer. From the kitchen to your home and garden to our beautiful wide open spaces, we're proud to say that this is Real Virginia. For everyone from the Virginia Farm Bureau, thanks for watching. Make it a great week.
Home will always be Virginia, between the Blue Ridge and Chesapeake Bay, Atlantic to Appalachia, home in my heart always.
We know that farmers don't always get a chance to hear from the folks who use their products in their homes and on their tables. So we visited the State Fair of Virginia to get some thoughts from our fairgoers on what it is that you do and how it impacts their lives every day.
People love to know where their food and fiber are coming from. They love to know who's producing it, how they're producing it, what it all goes into it. They love to know the family aspect, whether it's a multi-generation operation or it's a brand new young farmer or just a brand new farmer. They love to know everything about it. So we're really seeing a push for people to see, where their food and fiber comes from and how it's grown and why it's grown.
My name's Orlando Fleming, and I'm from Powhatan, Virginia. Powhatan's a wonderful county. I just want to say thank you to all the guys. We've got some wonderful farmers in Powhatan. We've got probably the best farmers in the world right here in Virginia. And we want to say thank you. We know it's a tough job. It's not a whole lot of big money rollers, but we want to thank you and God bless all of you guys.
Thank you, farmers.